Hi, everyone. Our guest for today is one of the most famous Armenians in the world. Her name regularly appears right after Kim Kardashian. Athlete, volleyballer, successful model, super successful actor, starred in 17 Indian films as the lead character and one French film as well. Astrologer, Vedic consultant, and commissioned artist. Welcome, Tulip Joshi. We are honored and delighted to have you with us.
Thank you so much, Vin. Thank you, Kirsten. Thank you for having me. You guys are my closest friends, and um, and thank you so much for the beautiful introduction. I think I won't hide now because I'm wondering who you're speaking about.
We have quite a bit to unpack today, so let's get to it. Let's start right from the beginning. Could you walk us through some of your younger years, your childhood, and how you got started?
So, my life, if I look back, it is a little blur, and they're like snippets of it. They're like flashes. It's not like one story. It's not like a feature film. So what I remember, as you asked me right now, is I was a space cadet, and obviously I did not know that I had ADHD. So yeah, and I remember asking my mom. I was little and asked. I said, "Mom, do you know what you want with your life?" She just looked at me. So that was pretty funny. I remember that, and of course, my I was fortunate and grateful to have my grandmom as my light. She was like a pillar for me. Um, what else do I remember from my childhood? Uh, yeah, I was a space cadet and I went to school and but life did not make sense to me. I used to wonder like why is this like why am I going to school and why am I studying? Why is everyone studying? And especially with the things that we were taught, it didn't make sense. And then why do people have to go to college and then work, do a job, get married, have kids, and the endless cycle. So it was kind of I used to think a lot, and yet I was like spaced out. So that's what I remember. Then I remember taking part in sports, um, and I used to enjoy that because very often in class I used to just zone out when the teachers used to speak. I used to love all of them, but it just didn't make sense. And then I used to forget, like while studying and while giving my exams, I used to just blank out. I used to study and then, but yet I did pretty decent. And then I graduated. I graduated in science. And while I was in school, I used to get a lot of modeling offers, and and I wasn't like I said, okay, is this what I should do? No, I don't think so. And then I spoke to my mom and she said, you finish your graduation and then you do whatever makes sense to you after that. Uh, and back then, if I think back, there was this trend. If you say no, then you're like special. You should not just say yes to everything. So that was pretty funny. Yeah, then anyway, after that, I graduated and um, then I got into modeling after the Miss India pageant. I did some decent work. I enjoyed it. And that's what I can remember.
Oh, amazing. So tell us how you were first discovered for the movie industry.
Well, so I went for a friend's wedding. It was my sister's friend's wedding, and it was a very small affair. 200 people is very small affair. It is, but it was yeah, it was a small affair but grand, and that's when one of India's biggest producers. It was his son's wedding, and he spotted me, and they knew that I was modeling, and they approached me for their film, and yeah, I never knew that this is what I would get into. It was not planned, but then I was modeling, and then getting this beautiful opportunity with this amazing the production house was the obvious choice. So then that's how I got into films. I continue being a space cadet though, even.
What are some of your favorite memories from that time? Any fun stories?
Oh my God. Uh, yeah, I remember. I think I was filming for my first film, Nair Ki Shadi Hai, and we were filming in Switzerland. And I think it was this place called, was it Sanen or Stad, or one of those mountains, and it was post sunset, and I was wearing this skimpy chiffon outfit, and I was, and we had a small unit, and I was walking towards my van after uh, we wrapped up, and I was alone, and there was this local Swiss gentleman, and he saw me, and he thought I was crazy because I had all the makeup on. It's so cold, and I'm supposed to be in a jacket, but I'm wearing that outfit, and I'm like lost looking for someone. So he asked me if I needed help. So that was funny. Then that was funny. And then there was another incident when someone else asked me if I needed help. I'll tell you when. That was in 2008. I was in Canada. I was filming for a for this Punjabi film where I play a blind girl, and I had this walking stick, and it was a tele shot. So not many people, it was a small unit. Not many people knew that we were filming. So I was walking across with a stick, and this gentleman comes from behind and asked me if I needed help. So I said, "Why you spoiled the shot? Like we are filming, so I don't need help, but thank you." So it's a compliment that you actually think that I'm, blind. So
It's very sweet.
So, when did when did spirituality come into your life? Was it always there? Did it start after your acting? Did something happen that triggered you into spirituality?
I've always been attracted to the occult ever since I was a kid, and my grandmom, who was a very big influence in my life, she was psychic. Um, and and I also think that because I couldn't make sense of life, I probably was more comfortable with than the non-quantifiable. And I'll give you examples. It's where I grew up. I There were a lot of filming that was happening, and my friends used to enjoy taking pictures with film stars and autographs, and I always shied away. Or I didn't shy away, but I wasn't interested. However, I remember this encounter. One of the most special moments in my life is when I was going to my school. It was my driver was taking me to my school, and my home and my school were very close, but still I had like my car dropping me. And there was this apartment building, and guess who I saw? It was Osho. It was like Bhagwan Rajneesh Osho, and I was very 6 or so, and I just I don't know what happened. I just looked at him, and it was a very special moment. He was sitting out on his in his balcony, and he looked, and it was magic. I don't know what it was. It was a very, very special moment. And then I went to school, and the next day, or the next thing I remember, sharing this with my friends, and and people couldn't understand. He seems like a very powerful person. So I always have been attracted to that energy, and then as life, came along, again, even while filming or throughout, a lot of things didn't make sense to me, and then I met my mentor, my life coach. Vin, thank you so much. There is this. I mean, I'm whatever I am today is thanks to you. Thank you, Kirsten, for being the beautiful light. There's this saying in Sanskrit where when you take like your parents give you a first birth, and it's your guru who gives you a second or the first, whatever you call it. So thank you very much. And it's like I was just looking, when you're looking, and then you just meet the right person or the right people who guide you, and that's where I can say I'm fortunate that uh I could walk the path that I'd always been looking for.
Wow.
So you have had a significant transformation going from the limelight and really moving into this spiritual path and have become, I mean, certainly an artist, which we'll get into, and Vedic consultant, and also quite an astrologist. So I'm curious to hear what drew you into astrology specifically amongst all the spiritual sciences.
So, something very interesting that a few years ago, I just realized I don't know how it didn't catch my attention, but my surname is Joshi, and in Sanskrit that means astrologer. So somewhere I have to just follow my genetics, the DNA, the good part, all the good parts, I hope. But yeah, that's interesting that I didn't realize. And you know, like Vin says, there's no that's something that I've learned and I've experienced. It's not about it's beyond logic. Sometimes you just or most of the times you just do things that guide you. You just it's that voice and it's that something you don't know whatever it is. Um so I don't know what attracted me towards it, but the more I won't say the more I learned because it's every day it's a learning process. Like I do my research every day and it's fascinating and as I learn I'm like, oh my goodness, why wasn't this taught to all of us from the very beginning, because it's just not about predictions. Because people assume, oh, it's astrology and what's going to happen, when am I going to win the lotto? No, it's not about that. It's a lifestyle. Like it's Jyotish. It's a lifestyle where it's a combination of the Vedic astrology part, Ayurveda, and yoga. So it's about bringing you to your optimal health. How like it's life, and how do you make most of it? And and I also believe that whatever kind of occult or any kind of science, these kind of sciences you want to learn, um, like for you need a foothold somewhere, and then it's like a domino effect. You understand there are so many technical things that I don't understand when I read someone's chart. It's not like it's amazing. I get fascinated by a lot of astrologers when I listen to them and their technical, even the words. I don't understand a lot of it, most of it, because I need to know a few things, and then it's just connecting the dots, and it's a patterns or whatever it is I see. um and it's it's also something that when I read someone's chart, it's fulfilling. I feel so good, as if there's something from within that just glows, and that's empowering.
Mm, amazing. Well, speaking of charts, birth charts, have you read the birth charts of any other celebrities or co-stars? Anything interesting there?
I have read, I have read, what's, but I'll, okay, a lot of people would say, okay, it's the, Venus, the planet of luxury, or Rahu and Moon and the combinations and the way it's placed. First of all, planets manifest differently for everyone. What it's not one plus one does not equal two. It's vague, because if it was so simple, then everyone would be just living off like the textbook, right? Everyone would know during COVID what's going to happen, so we would all have a user manual. So it's not like that. It's um and again, about talking about celebrities, a lot of times, you know, people love reading charts of a lot of famous people, and they say this is happening to them and that's happening to them. Amazing. I have total respect for that. I wouldn't know how to read that. However, what I understand is when I'm reading the chart, one is about, people say, okay, this is the time when this person had a victory, or they won awards, or they became the president. So that's external. But I believe our life is internal, because you can be like you can have all the material luxury in the world, you can win all the awards, but you can be miserable from within, and it's just not because um, it's multidimensional. We have so many stories going on. You may be happy, obviously, because you have that comfort. But there are other aspects in your life that may not be aligning, with what people can see, right? So so it's very complex, and it's in for any chart, with however famous or whatever you are, it's as good as anyone else. It's as good as a person that we encountered in the road. But it's different. It just works differently because a lot of people probably are born in the same place, in this at the same time, but they live different lives. So it's hard to categorize.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
How do you, um, let's say, when you do a reading, how much of that is instinct and how much of that is real technical astrology?
This is funny what I'm going to say because normally I always use the 80/20 where so you would assume that I would know 80 and 20, but honestly I just understand 20% and 80% is just I just do this
Instinct.
instinct. Yeah.
Here's a question. You introduced the two of us to each other.
Yeah.
We didn't know each other at all. You introduced us, and we walked right into it, and now we are married, and everything's great. So, was it instinct, or did you do our charts, or how did you? What made you make this happen, or not make it happen? I'd say, set it up.
You know, it's like when I met Kirsten, I was telling a friend, I said, if I were a guy, I would marry Kirsten. Like, she poor baby. It was funny. And, but and I think I've told, when I used to speak with you, I used to FaceTime you and tell you that, hey, I've met this beautiful girl. And there's not once that I've felt like negative or unhappiness. She's always so bright. And that's very rare, honestly, because I'm not saying that everyone's miserable. We all have our time. We all have our tough days, but that energy of hers was just like unmistakable. Like you cannot miss that. So
Mm.
so um forgiving if I may say so. So and then we used to hang out occasionally, and then once I I read her birth chart. She came over and I cooked for her, and then I was just reading her chart. And I you kept like like a lot of your energy just kept coming to me while I was doing her chart. And I don't want to get into what kind because it's something, you know, whatever. This makes I don't want to like speak about that, but there's some aspect and you kept appearing. So I said, whoa. I mean, I don't know. I left that. And then you FaceTimed and she was there. And
I remember that.
and then y'all spoke. And I don't know, it was different. And then I was coming to the island to meet you and your pet, your little new. And I told Kirsten, I'm going to meet when he's got a lot of guest rooms, so we can make ourselves comfortable. Let's go. And she was leaving from Mexico, and she said, yeah. And I said, I love this girl. She's the but if I were her, I'll be like, oh, we hum. Yes, let's go. And then we came and we had gone to the Indian restaurant. And I looked at both of y'all. I said, done. For these two are getting married for sure. I don't think y'all knew what was going on.
You did a beautiful job. It was very subtle and yeah, it was
Yeah, I can motivate is that I didn't say anything. I didn't tell y'all. I didn't tell you anything. I didn't tell her anything. And but the Indian food was delicious though.
and it was.
I'm not sure but we knew what was going on, but I enjoyed it.
Yeah, big thank you, heartfelt thank you for
Definitely.
Thank you. Thank you.
being our lives.
100%.
Thank you guys so much. And Kirsten, thank you for bringing the light and making life even more special. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
You know, sorry, go ahead. I was thinking that you're such an artist. You've portrayed characters, you've been characters on screen, and now you're a commissioned artist. You just recently did a fabulous penthouse in Vancouver.
Beautiful.
What a beautiful job, just fantastic. Which of the two forms of art has been more fulfilling to you or allowed you to express yourself better?
Wow. I love acting. I love the camera. Um, Even I remember the first time when my first shot of my first film. I'm not even saying modeling, it was modeling it again, I enjoyed it. I was like, I remember my first shot and Yash Chopra, who was alive back then, beautiful soul. He was there and he was in my first shot and he said, "Oh my God, this is beautiful and how comfortable you are." So so he was right. I'm very comfortable with the camera and I love it. I love, love, love the camera, motion picture, stills, whatever. And I project. It's not method acting because I don't get into any character. I just project. I just shut off and I just perform. Um, Having said that, while I'm acting, I have to worry about the light. There are a lot of people around, there's sound, there are a lot of technicians, there's your co-actor, people, and there's a lot of distractions. So it's not when you're watching it or you're watching a romantic scene, you're like, oh, that must be fun or whatever. It's not like that. It's just projection. It's about it's creating that situation and it's a synergy. So there's a lot involved. So it's projection. And then of course you may or may not be that person. No, when I'm with my canvas and it's been a year and a half, and honestly, I feel I don't know when people see my art, I just I'm grateful for the feedback and whatever work I'm getting. That um, it seems like I've been doing this for a while, and I feel that way honestly because. And again, thanks to you when you encourage when I just did a little art and you said, "Oh, you should pursue this," and I always listen to you and I always get something out of it. So
We can say the same.
yeah,
I got my nice to do.
something. No, so when I'm with my canvas, it's meditative. I get into a zone, it's just the canvas and me. It's like how you say that the book is just between the reader and the book. You and your canvas are the only entities, and obviously you have your colors and everything, and you just can create, and whoever you are, whatever you are, it just flows. And initially, it could also be cultural because a lot of things are driven by culture, whether it's our memory or the way we behave, the way we act. And then by the time it's your 10th art piece and you're left, then you see changes. Of course, you're evolving as a person. Even the colors, like there are times that I just go and pick up one color and then I return it. And then I don't mind going 10 times because it depends on what's attracting you at that time. So you are the creator, you are the director, you're the camera, like the DOP, the cameraman, the DOP. You are everything for the art. It's your creation. And and it's and for me when I'm creating art, I treat each piece as an altar. Like it's all the energy. So it's just me through and through. Of course, when I'm commissioned, if I'm asked, okay, this is my furniture piece, and I love doing that. I love making um custom designing pieces which match or contrast the furniture. That's challenge. That's fun. Yet I have to be able to do my own thing. I like if it's otherwise it's design. You print. It's fine. You make stuff. So so having said that, I enjoy both, but it's hard. I love art because yeah, that's a space that is healing for me. If I'm upset, I love doing art. If I'm happy, I would love to keep painting. if I'm distracted, if I'm thinking, if I'm doing anything, and when I'm with my canvas, I just feel at peace. And I think it's just, even if people do not want to like get into it professionally, I think it's very important to just do, like, just to, um, you know, by creating art, you learn about yourself. There's a lot of healing that happens, a lot of unspoken, hidden things inside of you that come alive, and you learn about yourself. And yeah, so it's healing, and I just enjoy it.
Amazing.
So go ahead.
I was gonna say, I mean, I know that you just started painting, what, maybe a year and a half ago, and it's incredible what you have done in that year and a half. Your pieces are absolutely stunning. And I'm curious, this piece that you're talking about for others to get into that field and to just express, is there anything that you would kind of any advice you would give to someone who maybe has never even picked up a pencil or a paintbrush?
I would say, like you said, a year and a half ago, I started, and in fact, a year and a half ago, I had put my first collection up, and before that, like, and it took me 6 months to reach there. So before that, if someone would ask me if I would paint, I would say, like, "Are you kidding me?" So I would tell everyone, like, do not shy away. Go to a dollar store. I'm not saying go to Michael's or the other places. Go to dollar store, pick up stuff which is like, start basic, and then you can transition into, the different levels of the gallery level of canvas. All of that is later, but just go pick up whatever you can, and don't waste money, because there's a lot of it. And then just pick up a little bit, start, um, and don't even buy an easel, because for me, someone had gifted me an easel, and I returned it, because I use my canvas. I sit on, I literally squat on the floor and with my hands, and like I create my. It's funny because we all have a different style, and there is no fixed formula. And another thing, I do two pieces at the same time. I don't know why, and that is weird. For some it could be three, for some it could be just one, but I just need to do two at this. So I don't know what that speaks of me. So what I mean is, go out there and just start creating, because it is healing. And you know what, you don't have to show it to anyone. You don't have to feel shy or embarrassed. And at the end of the day, who cares? No one's going to laugh at you, whatever you create. I mean, sometimes for my own pieces, when I'm painting, I'm like, wow, the next morning, and I wake up and I'm like, holy cow, this is ugly. I need to just throw this away. I hate it. And then after a few hours, when I go back, I'm like, no, but it's not bad. So it's perception, and it's fine. Um it's probably one of the best spaces to be in.
Yeah. I think there's just so much freedom in it as you're in your practice. Just whatever's flowing through, whatever's inside, you're just able to put it out there, put it out on that canvas.
Absolutely.
That's beautiful. Beautiful. Right.
If someone looks at your life, you're living the dream. I mean, just right now, it's visible on screen. You have this beautiful luxury condo in the heart of Vancouver in Kitsilano. We can see your art at the back. It's
Mhm.
gold. In fact, it's beautiful. You've had your exhibition in Vancouver. You've just been commissioned and done a whole penthouse there. When we call you or talk to you, you're globe-trotting. We sometimes speak to you. You're in Seattle, Atlanta. I think you're going to Boston soon. And you're making all these celebrity appearances across the US and Canada. I think your next one's in Boston. Am I right?
Yeah, I'm in Boston.
And at the same time, you do meditation, and you just took a whole session somewhere recently on meditation. When I look at the reviews, they're all raving about you. We wanted to come, but we couldn't make it. So how did you get here? Is it just that you're a very lucky and talented person? Is there any hard work? Is there any vision? Is there any planning? How did you get to this position that you are in right now?
Honestly, when you speak I just love myself even more when I hear you speak. It just shows the way you look at the world, honestly. Like I'm impressed with myself after listening to you all of a sudden. Because there are days I'm like, what's going on? I have no clue. So yeah, I don't. I mean, when I say I don't plan too much, but I'm not blind like I used to be thanks to my medication for my ADHD. So it just allows me to focus. Um, I don't know about luck, but you know what? I just follow what makes sense. I don't like to categorize things. I love to follow my heart and what makes what gives me happiness. It's not the difference between chasing lust and being fulfilled from within. And and people ask me as well, how would one know? It's being disciplined, following a disciplined lifestyle. And discipline is different for each one. Like for me, I like to wake up before 3 a.m. For some people, they like to sleep at that hour. So whatever works for each one. But I like routines, and you know my body clock, when it's in sync with the cosmos, it just feels right, and then that's how you get connected, and that's how I live meditatively. Having said that, I don't know. No, I think there are people who achieve so much, and I just love. I mean, I think I love creating. So be it art, be it like even meditation. Now, how I started facilitating. It's not like I go every day and I conduct it. It's occasionally that I have these sessions, and how I it it was beautiful because I've been doing my sadhana and my tapas um, with Jyotish and Jnana Yoga for what now, over 20 years. And that's how I got approached to start conducting it. Not because I did any course or because I follow something or this is how it should be done. It's because of, all because of the background of that. And I love the feedback as well because it comes from the heart. So I love sharing what I know, and there's a lot of misinformation about things, be it from our scriptures, and that's again something like I want to share what I was looking for when I was a child because there's so much confusion, right? So I'm just walking that path, and it could come through my art because a lot of my art is. I love I love embellishing Sanskrit text. I love creating like the Gayatri mantra, the one you see behind. That's Reem Shreem and Gayatri mantra, and like that I have a few Ekonkar, and it depends on. This is something I start, and these were one of my first few of them. So be it through art, be it through the meditation sessions, and of course the traveling bit is thanks to I've done some films which have been fairly popular. So it's nice that I get to meet people from different parts of the world, and yeah, it's humbling again. So there is, I don't know whether you call it whatever it is. I'm just grateful for each day, and and I do my best for whatever's been presented to me, because who knows what's going to happen tomorrow, right? There's no starting point and finish like, okay, this is how life is going to be. I I believe in doing my best with whatever, and then beyond that, if things don't work out the way probably I want, that's fine. And um and I believe today this is my reality. Tomorrow things could be different. Like a few years ago, I wouldn't imagine that I'm going to be moving to Canada and living here. There are a lot of things I didn't know I would be doing, but uh, I just embrace it as a life is unfolding.
Mhm. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
You mentioned your ADHD. Can you touch upon that? What I'd like to know is your ADHD a blessing or a curse? Question one. Question two, how do you live with it? And how does it affect your life?
So, like I mentioned, I always knew that I'm a little crazy in the head and I was spaced out and not knowing what's going on. But I kind of enjoyed it as well because it's okay, this is what it is. And then knowing that, um, after getting diagnosed with it, I started taking meds. I could, I could make sense of things. I could function. But then when I got diagnosed, this is when I realized and I started taking the meds. And all of a sudden I realized it's like having a superpower. So blessing or I won't say it's a curse. I think it's a blessing. And I also think we all, each and every one, has something, whatever it is, and we got to identify it and embrace it. So if I have certain challenges, it also allows me to hyper focus. Um, like there are some creative expressions of mine which probably I wouldn't have been able to express if it wasn't, I guess, with ADHD. Um, so yeah, and sorry, you asked me. The question was if the blessing or a curse. What else do you ask?
The blessing or a curse? How does it affect your life? And how do you live with it?
So yeah, I think it is what it is. I mean, whatever it is, it's there, right? So and I'm happy. I wish I would have known this earlier because I probably would have handled my life in a better way, more organized way. And um how do I live with it? I just understand um what makes me uncomfortable and what helps me. So like I mentioned earlier, I love a pattern, I love a routine. Living a routine life helps. Then having less clutter around helps. So if I'm around people like if it's crowded or if if there's a lot of noise or if there's a lot of material around, it bothers me. So I love being in nature. So I understood that about, and I always knew I liked that, but now it makes more sense. So I just manage it by A, taking my meds, B, being, having a proper routine, exercising, doing my yoga, going to the gym, going for walks, meeting few good people, having nice conversations which are nourishing, staying away from things that you know that will not help me my growth.
So we've talked a lot about all the successes that you've had, which are many, and you've shared some of the challenges that you've had over the years. And I'm curious what advice you would give to your younger self, knowing the road ahead.
Get yourself tested for ADHD and start your medication. Everything will be sorted.
Good advice.
Um, okay. And how do you define success today?
Success can be measured with the happiness and contentment in one's life. Um, you know, you know, you may have or not have things, and there's always something better. There's always something more. Um, be it anything, be it a designation, be it something in material, a car, home, or whatever. There's always something. You have a phone tomorrow. There are 10 new different versions, or a watch, or whatever it is, clothes, material stuff, even like films or art. There's always something, like monetary wise, more or less. But you got to be content and you got to be happy from within. And that's something that I've realized because you got to know where to put this stuff. Like you got to know what you want, and you just got to celebrate. Like for me, even if I make a nice cup of coffee for myself, for me it's like a celebration. Like, wow, this has turned out good, let me just enjoy it. and living the best you can with whatever um with whatever cards you've been dealt with. Just give your best, and just leave the rest to and then if things don't work out in your favor, that's fine, because at least you've done what you could. So there's no ifs, there's no buts. So this is what it is. You've given your best, and that's it. And that to me is success.
Yeah, it's powerful.
So, what thought that I can't resist, have to ask, is sports, modeling, acting, astrology, Vedic consulting, art, painting. What's next for Tulip Joshi?
Ooh. I don't know. I don't know. I'm just whatever shows up. I love creating. I love sharpening sharpening my skills, be it my exercise, be it creativity, and whatever opportunities are presented, I just take it, um or do or not, depending on what it is. And yeah, so I don't know.
Does your birth chart show any signs of what might be next?
That was my next question.
That's so insane.
Um, I mean, there are possibilities, but I don't.
I have one more question. I'm sure there's many, many people eager to know. Are you single, or have you seen someone?
Just because it's you who's asking me. Yes, I'm very much single.
When you look at your chart, what are the things that stand out to you? That's one question. Second question is, did you know that all this would be coming up since you can read charts? Did you know that you're going to get into each of these fields?
No, no. Um, so when you asked me about if I knew, and what was the first part of the question?
What stands out to you about your chart? Like if
Yeah.
you were to give us a few salient features of your chart, what would those be?
No, so when I see a chart, like especially when I'm looking at my own chart, I understand, of course, patterns, and I understand like dates. I know the pivotal phases. So I know that there's going to be a major shift. And then if I want to get into it, I could sense maybe it's this, but I don't get too much too much into it, but I do know there's a possibility. And like I said, the dates I know, like this will happen, like this date, things are going to change. I don't know what it is. And whatever it is, beautiful. Let me just accept it. But then I do know from like reading like for me a birth chart, what are the two main things that are important for any of us? Not about the prediction. It's about what planets suit you and what don't. Because it's like people say, oh, Rahu is a bad graha. No, it's not bad. It depends on your constitution, if it's going to affect, how it's going to affect you. And also, I feel people, like planets manifest through people. So that's how you understand relationships. And people say moon, like moon is supposed to be the mother in the chart, the sun, the father. No, it could be your child, could be the moon, or your best friend could be someone else. So for me, the planets are very, very important, because if I like, I know which planets are harmful to me, or for which will which affect me in not a nice way. So I am more cautious on that day. Or I'm mindful. Or I may tell my friends, hey, if I'm not my best, please just forgive me, because this is something I cannot control, or I try not meeting them. That's one. Then the other aspect, which is very important, are the dates, because it's all given there. It's how you um it's how you decipher it, and the dates are very, very important, because then and whether you call it hope or you understand that there are changes, because it's constantly evolving. It's all about the elements. It's all changing constantly. Like, it's cyclical. So okay, this has started. It's not a good phase. It will come to an end, and you know when. Or this is a great phase, but you know what? Obviously, it's going to come to an end. So there are going to be changes. And no, I did not know that I would be getting to this, but a part of me always was attracted to the occult. So I'm not surprised that all of this is happening. Like, I'm reading charts um because that's who I've always, that's who I am. Um, what else? Yeah, that's pretty much.
I think that's a powerful differentiation, because when people are maybe coming and seeking answers or wanting to know what's going to happen in my future, that's not what it's about. It sounds like with reading a birth chart, it's more understanding maybe themes or
Yeah.
um core identities or
Yeah, I absolutely, because see, I'm not interested in knowing. It's, you know what, who, like, it's not like a horse racing, it's not a horse betting thing or the stock market, like, hey, this is going to happen. No, that's not what I want to get into. And it's about understanding the patterns, understanding relationships, which is one of the most important things in life, because it's all about relationships. If it's not, then what's the point? It's all about who you are surrounded by, or what you're doing, and so forth. So to understand your relationships, like the patterns, the planets, really, really help, because sometimes things just change without any, like, it doesn't make sense, or or whether it's a breakup or it's a marriage or their life events. It's just what it is. It's And that's again, when people ask me if it's destined, and you're saying it's destined, then what is free will? There's a very big difference, because you're destined to do things, but it's that is a given, but it's how you react to the situation, that is free will. You can be miserable while getting the best result, or you can say, wow, you see.
any words of wisdom for our viewers.
Ooh. So I'm thinking I've written this piece, which I would share with you all, and I'm hoping to use that for some other creation of mine. I don't know where, but I'll share this with the beautiful Socratic Satsang. Life is a canvas painted by our actions, an ever evolving piece sculpted by our decisions. The journey of blending progress with challenges as we carve our path. How we choose to experience it from within is our free will, the real story, while others witness it through their perspective. Ask yourself, what story do you want to live out? You are the protagonist of your life.
Wow.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
Thank you. Beautiful. This has been wonderful. It's been deep and insightful. If someone wants to contact you for your appearances across the US, Canada, or for movie parts or for your art, how do they contact you?
They can reach out through my website. That's www.tulipjoshi.com.
Amazing. Well, this has been so fun. It's been so wonderful talking with you today. It's just a pleasure.
Yeah, a deeper look into Tulip Joshi. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. You're amazing. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to be a part of this beautiful pot that's going to keep growing. About
Cheers.
Bye bye.